So it looks like RFK Jr., this anti vax perpetrator, is going to likely be uh, confirmed for the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And, there was one GOP senator who had reservations, but due to pressure by his colleagues, he's going to go ahead and vote for him, which I think is an absolute travesty. And what's even worse is even though the numbers were not there for the Democrats, there were some Democrats who also voted in favor. I think um, they were trying to curry some favor or establish some relationships with the GOP or Trump himself, which is bullshit. Um, if you have integrity, stand by your beliefs and represent your constituents. Fuck this, you know, political game that you're playing to get what you need out of it. It's not going to work. And understand that even if you were trying to do it in the interest of the state or the district that you represent, it's not going to really matter because Trump is anti democratic and he's also just an ass. So, having said all of that, I want to say that with this happening and with Trump pulling from the WHO, we cannot rely on the CDC to give accurate information. And we probably can't even rely on our own respective states to give accurate information. Some states, I don't know, may not be reporting uh, things on trends on diseases, outbreaks, etc. So if they are great, if they are doing that in your state, definitely check out your state's website to get information on what's going on in terms of, you know, things that are diseases that are spreading in your area. But from a national perspective and from a pandemic or endemic perspective, you'll probably want to go to the WHO's website directly. Fuck the CDC. They're corrupted. They're tainted because Trump has his hands in it. And again, he's pulled away from the WHO. So go directly to the WHO's website to get that information. But this is just all a big fucking mess. The fact that Robert F. Kennedy had pulled some bullshit information from a Polish study or a few Polish studies on how black people have a better immunity or stronger immunity than people from other races is absolutely preposterous, and it gets into medical racism, which we Black Americans, and I'm sure Black people from around the world in majority non-Black countries are dealing with. So this just adds to that. And one thing I can say is, um, having dealt with medical bias myself, I always have to advocate for myself and stay on top of things, which is something that I stress everyone to do. Whether you're a man, woman, black, whatever, just make sure that you're advocating for yourself and you're getting the right information. And I'm not talking about from holistic people, naturalists, and functional doctors, which is, another ripoff itself, but get the information from actual medical and scientific experts. But going back to RFK's citation of the study, he didn't even really cite anything other than there were a few Polish studies saying this. No one had asked him, at least I don't think anyone had really asked him, who exactly was a part of that Polish study. And I'm talking in terms of the scientific researchers themselves. He did not give names. He did not give dates of these studies. He just made the statement. And one senator did question him very well, but I don't believe she questioned him well enough, because you can sit here and say, yeah, I had this study. I read this study on the effects of X, Y, and Z, but that study could have been outdated. I don't trust this man any further than I can throw him. And I have a weak throw, so I don't trust him further than 2 inches from my nose. So I'm going to say that this man is going to be a detriment to America, just like the rest of Trump's cabinet is. And a lot of people already know that, but I think it bears repeating that He is a fucking liar. He is a psychopath. Um, he has a lot of charisma, as most psychopaths do, which is why he was able to, get this following. But the man is just not at all an expert. He is an attorney. What do you think attorneys do? They spin things, they position things a certain way. So even if they're not outright lying, they're positioning things or verbalizing things a certain way to get their win. And so I'm just going to say again, do not trust this motherfucker whatsoever. And if you are one of these anti-vax people or, these raw milk motherfuckers, this message is not for you. Frankly, I don't care if you don't get a vax or not. I don't care if you drink raw milk. I don't care if you go to a holistic person. That is on you. If you want to ride that ride, go for it. I hope it's a very short ride, and I hope that that ride ends at a cliff from which you drop. So for the rest of you who are, reasonable minded or reasonable people, just make sure that you're getting your information from reliable sources. Don't stop at what the news is saying. Go further. Even if you don't have the time, make the time. It is so important in this day and age that we get the news from primary sources and we really start to question things for ourselves and not just be spoon-fed the information. I know it's very easy for us to go to an influencer. They distill that information down to, 5 minutes or whatever, and it's easy, but we still have to do the work ourselves. So just be a better citizen for yourself and for others, and you have a great night.